Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and today I'm bringing you another build video, and this one is special, you all, because this build I have been working on for a very long time, and if you've seen my stream, you can understand the pain at which I have been trying to assemble the pieces for this build. This is featuring a Nightblade class, and I am super stoked to show you all what this build is about for Update 29. This update has brought about many changes that I, for one, have been really enjoying when it comes to making builds. I feel as if builds are going to be pushing the limits a little more now, and I'm excited what everyone else is going to bring to the table. And remember, if you have any questions about my builds or anything, you can always come by my Twitch chat, twitch.tv/brahwegotthis, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can also come by the Discord. The links to Discord and Twitch are in the description. And a huge shout out to all my patrons. Thank you so much for all the support that you give me. I do appreciate it. If you'd like to become a patron, you can check out the links below in the description for that, so you can see all the perks available. You can also check out our website at brahwegotthis.com. But this build is going to be a Nightblade tank, and it's going to be doing a lot of other things as well, like a lot. But it has so much utility, self-healing, group healing, and damage and resistances that I have been blown away with it. I'm using some very fun sets, and I believe that if you want to learn tanking, this is a build that would be a great starting point to have some fun, but also learn more about the tanking role other than just taunting. Because with this build, you really are focusing on helping your teammates out with buffs, damage, and healing. A lot of the self-heals are going to proc naturally for you, so you don't even have to do much with that. This will also teach you about positioning adds and learning how to group them up in better ways for advanced tanking. Again, there will be timestamps in the video for each section, but I advise that you watch each section because you may miss something if you don't. But those are in the description, and if you want to stay up to date on all my guides or builds in the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the content in the channel. So let's go ahead and jump into this Nightblade sap tank. And basically what the whole point of this build is, again, is you're going to just take damage, you're going to heal your teammates, you're going to have loads of resistances, you're going to be able to sustain, and it's just something that I've had so much fun with. So what we're running, we are a Dark Elf Nightblade, okay? A Dark Elf Nightblade. You can also run Nord, you can run Argonian, but I like using the Dark Elf on this character, and we'll get into the racial passives here a little later. And what your stats are going to be, you're going to run 48 points into health, 14 into stamina, and 2 into magicka, okay? And your stats right now are 21.9k max magicka, 43.4k max magicka, and if we switch bars, we're going to be over 44k based off of a passive that we have, and 24.4k max stamina. You're going with 1083 mag recovery, 539 health recovery, 743 stam recovery. And then you've got 19.5k spell resistance and 1320 critical resistance. You got 19.5k physical resistance. And then here is all the advanced stats if you want to check out any of this. We've got a lot of resistances here to fire, shock, frost, magic, disease, poison, and bleed. So you can check all these out if you'd like there. And for the Mundus Stone, we're using the Lord Mundus Stone. We are also using Longfin Pasty with Melon Sauce Food Buff. Longfin Pasty is right here. So this is going to increase our max health, max magicka, and max stamina for 2 hours. It's a nice buff food. I love it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the skills, okay? And we're going to go over all of that for you all. So this is a sword and board tank and a resto staff tank. We are not running a destruction staff, and I'll get to why we're not doing that. You can if you'd like, but I'm running this, and I'll show you guys why we're doing this. But on the front bar, we've got the sword and board, okay? So sword and shield. So the first skill we're using is Pierce Armor, okay? This is going to be your main taunt. It's going to taunt enemies, a single target taunt for 15 seconds. It's also going to apply Major Breach and Minor Breach on the enemy, reducing the physical resistance and spell resistance of that target by 2974 and 5948 for 15 seconds. This is a crucial tanking skill. You need to have this up all the time on bosses. The next skill we are running is Lotus Fan. Lotus Fan is from the Assassination line. What this is going to do is it's going to teleport you to an enemy dealing 3050 magic damage. After teleporting, you unleash a Fan of Knives, dealing additional 4720 magic damage over 10 seconds to the target and nearby enemies. The really cool thing about this is going to inflict minor vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 5%. This is a great pre-buff that you can make on targets, on a boss, or on on ads, and it's going to help your teammates do more damage. So I love this ability, and plus it just lets you jump into the fight from really far away. I really like that. Next skill is Inner Rage. Inner Rage is from the Undaunted line. This is going to be your ranged taunt, okay? So this is just something that if you can't taunt with Pierce Armor, you're going to taunt them from afar with this. Next skill is Mirage. Mirage is from the Assassination line. Mirage, what it's going to do is it lasts for 26 seconds, and you're going to give yourself major evasion and minor resolve, reducing the damage from area attacks by 20% and increasing your physical and spell resistance by 2974 for 26 seconds. So we got to keep that in mind, and I'll show you guys why when we switch over to the other bar. This is basically just a mitigation tool. This is going to be something that you're going to pop, in a fight every 26 seconds. It's really nice. And it's just going to help you just take a lot more damage and not die, basically. Okay, and our last skill in this bar is Leeching Strikes. Leeching Strikes is from the Siphoning skill line. So what this does is it imbues your weapons, causing your light and heavy attacks to heal you for 1,660 health and restore 106 stamina for 20 seconds. The reason we're doing this one is so we can get the stamina back, our primary resource other than health, so we can make sure we have block and roll up and all that stuff. And if you do a fully charged heavy attack, it restores twice the value, and you restore up to 4,270 additional stamina when the effect ends based on the length of time Leeching Strikes was active. So this lasts a good bit of time, y'all, and this is something you want to always try to keep up while you're light attacking a target. It's just going to help you, restore stamina, and that's going to be really, really nice sustain for your resources. Now, the ultimate we're using is Soul Tether. Soul Tether is from the Siphoning skill line. Again, this ravages nearby enemies, dealing 8,664 magic damage, healing for half the damage, and stunning them for 4 seconds. Ravaged enemies are tethered to you for 8 seconds, and while they remain within 10 meters, you siphon 1,509 health from them every second. An ally can target a ravaged enemy and activate the Soul Leech synergy, dealing 7,513 magic damage to them and healing for the damage caused. So this is just an amazing ultimate that heals your allies, and it damages enemies, and it's just a really, really nice ability to use in ad fights. And this is something that is up a good bit of the time, but this is just such a fun ultimate to use. I love it. It's a nice heal, and it does a solid amount of damage. But you can switch this out if you'd like with Aggressive Warhorn, if you would like to do that. But I'm telling you, this just brings this RP effect of this build together. I love using this ultimate. So let's go and switch to the second bar. Now, I have been playing around with the Frost Staff for a long time on this, and for me, I kind of just stuck with the Resto Staff. And the reason being is because I wanted to kind of focus on buffing and healing my teammates while, when we get into the sets, you'll see why I'm not too worried about the self-healing. And I was liking this. It was really cool. And I like some of the abilities that you can run. Now, if you want to run the Frost Staff on the back bar, you totally can. This is what I'm running on my back bar. So we're running a Resto Staff, we're running Combat Prayer. Okay, so Combat Prayer is something that's going to give, it's like a burst heal for your teammates and yourself, and it's going to grant minor Berserk and minor Resolve, increasing you and your allies' damage done by 5% and physical resistance, spell resistance by 2,974 for 8 seconds. So if you remember, this Mirage skill is going to give you minor Resolve, okay? So that's going to be nice for you, but it doesn't give you your teammates minor Resolve. So what you do when you flip over to this bar is you're going to buff your teammates, increasing their damage and giving them minor Resolve. So this is something that, again, I really like on this bar. And we're running Healing Springs next, which you'll understand why we're running this once we get to the sets. But what this does is this is going to heal you and your allies in the target area for 1,055 health, an additional 1,055 health every 1 second for 8 seconds. So this is like a heal over time. And you restore 30 magicka every time you or an ally is healed. So this is a nice little second ability here on this skill. And I'll show you why we're using this here in a second. But this is something that's going to restore magicka, and it's going to heal your teammates. So really, really like that. And again, you're already restoring stamina with your Leeching Strikes. So this is just another ability to help with magicka. And again, it's just going to help you with your resources. Next skill is something that you can flex if you want. I like Silver Leash. Silver Leash is in the Fighters Guild line. This is a pull. I always on my tanks like to have a pull, and as a beginner, I really think if you want to start tanking, I would recommend using this skill, because this is going to help you learn how to position adds and enemies to where it helps your teammates aggro and DPS them down quicker. I like this. Again, you don't have to if you don't want this, but I personally like having a pull on my tanks. So this can be switched out with this skill. Let me go to, where's that? Shadow. You can go to Dark Cloak. This is a self-heal. And if you do slot this, I'll talk about the passives in a second. It's going to increase your Dark Vigor, which is really nice. But Dark Cloak, you really don't even need. It's a great skill, and I would recommend it for most Nightblade tanks. But for this build, you really just, like, self-healing is like, you're always healing. It's kind of insane. But yeah, this is just something you can switch it with if you'd like. The next skill is Refreshing Path. This is a heal. This is going to create a corridor of shadows, granting you and allies in the area major expedition, increasing your moving speed by 30%. So this effect persists for 4 seconds after leaving the path. So you're going to speed them up, which is awesome, and yourself. But this also heals for 1,603 health to you and the allies in the area every 1 second. So that's a 12-second heal over time. It's really nice, y'all. Again, this bar is based off heals. And then the last skill is Sap Essence. I love this skill. This skill is from the siphoning skill line, the last skill you get. What this does is it siphons the vigor from your enemy's blood, dealing 3,812 magic damage to all nearby enemies and healing you and your allies for 1513 plus 20% more for each enemy hit. So you use this in a group of enemies, you're going to heal your allies for 20% more for every enemy hit, okay? This is an amazing heal and damaging effect. And if you see below, it says, if an enemy is hit, you gain major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 20 seconds as well. So nice little effect there. The ultimate, the main reason we are running this ultimate is for a passive, but also this is still a really good skill to use for your ultimate. This is Bolstering Darkness. This is from the Shadow line. And what this does is this is going to reduce the movement speed of enemies by 70%, and granting you and your allies major protection while inside the ring, and even after leaving it, reducing the damage taken by 10%. So it's like a circular AoE. It's really, really nice, but allies in the area can activate the hidden refresh synergy, granting them invisibility, increasing their movement speed by 70%, and healing them for 24,625 health over 4 seconds. It's an amazing heal, y'all, and it helps them kind of get out of like a CC. It's really nice. I love this ultimate, and the hidden refresh synergy is amazing. This is an ultimate that you can pop. Like I said, I like using Soul Tether a lot more, but if you're in harder content, I would probably run Bolstering Darkness and Warhorn over the Soul Tether. But that's just another reason we're using this is the passives, which we're going to get into here in a second. So that is our skills. And so I'm going to go over the passives real quick, and then we're going to go into the item sets. You're going to kind of understand the build. It's going to kind of pull it all together, okay? For the passives, we want Master Assassin, which is going to increase your physical and spell penetration against enemies you are flanking by 2974. Increase the duration of stun from sneak by 100%. We don't really care about that. Executioner, when an enemy dies within 2 seconds of being damaged by you, restore 1,000 magicka and stamina. This is something that we do want. We want Pressure Points, because on our front bar, we increase our weapon and spell critical ratings by 438 for each assassin ability slotted. And we got Mirage and we got Lotus Fan there. And then we've got Hemorrhage, which increases your critical damage by 10% with an assassination ability slotted. And then dealing critical damage grants you and your group Minor Savagery, increases the weapon critical rating by 1314 by 20 seconds. So if you deal critical damage, you're going to give them Minor Savagery, which is going to be a nice buff for your teammates. And so this is something that you definitely do want as a passive. Now, these Shadow lines got some insane passives for us. We've got Refreshing Shadows, increases your health, stamina, magic recovery by 15%. Amazing. Shadow Barrier, this is awesome, okay? Casting a Shadow ability grants you major resolve for 6 seconds, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5948. This duration is increased by 25% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. This is probably one of the most important passives on your build, okay? This right here is an amazing tank passive, okay? So here's why it's so amazing. So we're running 5 pieces of heavy armor. You can run 7 if you'd like, but since we're running 5 pieces of heavy armor, this duration is going to last for 13.5 seconds. So Whenever you cast a shadow ability, this grants you major resolve. Okay, let me show you something. So Mirage is not a shadow ability, but when we cast this, this is like that little bubble that you're going to see here in a second. This is going to give us minor resolve. Okay, so we're already going to have minor resolve. Okay, and we're going to switch bars, and then a shadow ability would be Refreshing Path or our ultimate. So we're going to cast Refreshing Path because this is going to be a heal over time for our teammates. So when we cast this, okay, this is going to then activate Shadow Barrier, which is then going to give you major resolve. So you're going to have minor resolve and major resolve. So that right there is an amazing resistance tool that you can use on this tank build because you have access to it. It's so easy. And since it's going to last for 13.5 seconds, look at this skill. This lasts for 12 seconds. So this is literally, you're going to have major resolve up as long as you have Refreshing Path up all the time. You're going to have major resolve up all the time. Same with Mirage. You're going to have minor resolve up all the time. It's amazing, y'all, and it's going to really help you to resist a lot of damage, okay? Next passive is Dark Vigor. This is increasing your max health by 3% for each shadow ability slotted. So we have 2 shadow abilities, so we're going to have 6% extra max health, which is amazing. And again, if you switch Silver Leash with Dark Cloak, you're going to have 9%. So that's something that you can do if you'd like. And then Dark Veil, increase the duration of your non-invisibility based shadow abilities by 2 seconds. So that's going to be increased. And then this is also going to be increased as well. Now we go to Siphoning Catalyst. After you drink a potion, you gain 20 ultimate. So this is something that you definitely want to have. Magicka Flood, increase your max magicka by 8% while Siphoning ability is slotted. So we've got Leeching Strike, Sap Essence. So Sap Essence, we're going to have 8% more magicka. Max magicka right here, and we're gonna have 8% max magicka here. It's amazing. Okay, Soul Siphoner, increase your healing done by 3% for each siphoning ability slotted. Okay, Soul Siphoner here, so 3% and 3%. And then Transfer, casting a siphoning ability while in combat generates 2 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds. So we're gonna be casting this every around 20 seconds, and this is going to be casted around every 20 seconds. So this is still a passive that you're going to want to have. Now, for One Hand and Shield, you're going to want all the passives. Fortress, which reduces the stamina cost of your One Hand and Shield abilities. You're going to want Sword and Board. You're going to want Deflect Bolts. And you're going to want Battlefield Mobility. And then for the Resto Staff, you're going to want every Resto Staff passive. Essence Drain, Restoration Expert, Cycle of Life, Absorb, and Restoration Master. We go to the Undaunted. I would run definitely Undaunted Command. This is gonna when you activate a synergy, it's gonna restore 4% of your max health, stamina, and magicka. And Undaunted Metal, we're gonna have a 4% bonus since we're running 2 pieces of medium and 5 pieces of heavy. So you definitely want that as well. For Fighters Guild, you can get Slayer if you'd like. Silver Leash, again, it's if you're not running this, then you don't really need Slayer. Banish the Wicked. You want that. And Skilled Tracker, you can have this if you have Silver Leash. For Heavy Armor, you're going to want every passive for Heavy Armor. And for Medium Armor, you're going to want all the passives as well. You don't really need the Improved Sneak one, but the one that's really nice is Windwalker. This is going to increase your stamina recovery for each medium piece equipped, and it's going to reduce stamina cost of your abilities by 2% for each medium armor equipped, which is really nice. I like that. And then Race, we're using Dark Elf. Like I said, we're going to use all these passives. So you're going to have Ashlander, which reduces the damage taken from environmental lava by 50%. You're increasing your max magicka and stamina by 1910, which I really like for this build, again, because we are using a Resto Staff, so we're going to be using a little bit more magicka than we normally would if we're using an Ice Staff. So we want this kind of like hybrid feel, and we want a little bit more magicka and stamina. We also want Resist Flame, increase your flame resistance by 4620, and Ruination, increase your weapon and spell damage by 258. And you can also get the Medicinal Use passive as well for this. So let's get into the armor, y'all. This is where, again, this is where you guys are going to see some stuff and you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be interesting. So the first set that we are running is 5 pieces of Leeching. This is farmable in the Imperial City Prison. So for these, what this set does is it adds 1,206 max health. It adds 4% healing taken, adds 1,206 max health. When you take damage, you summon a cloud of leeching poison under the assailant. The cloud deals 1,180 poison damage every 1 second for 5 seconds and heals you For 100% of the damage caused, the cloud can be created once every 5 seconds. So this literally is up all the time because it just, whenever you take damage, every 5 seconds, you're going to have this up. It's going to deal damage and it's going to heal you. Okay, so this is part of why a lot of the self-healing you don't even have to worry about. So this is going to be a max health enchant with infused trait on the chest. For girdle, it's going to be max health enchant reinforced trait. We're going max health enchant on the boots and infused trait. We're going max health enchant on greaves, infused trait. We're going max health enchant on the gloves and reinforced trait on that. Now, for the second set, this is the one that I have been farming for ages in the live server, and this is Crimson. This is becoming one of my favorite sets, but also one of my most hated sets because it took me so long to get this, y'all. Crimson. This is from the Castle Thorn dungeon, okay? What this does, it adds 1206 max health, 1206 max health, 4% healing taken, so the same effects as leeching. So you're going to be taking an additional 8% healing taken, and you're getting like, what is that, like 4,800 health from these sets or whatever. It's kind of insane. And then the 5-piece, after taking damage, you surround yourself in an 8-meter mist of blood. After 2 seconds, the mist is violently siphoned into your body, dealing 8220 bleed damage to nearby enemies and healing you for 100% of the damage done. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. So this is literally up all the time. Now, when you switch to your back bar, which we'll get to in a second, you're not going to have the 4-piece bonus, but once this procs, it procs, okay? So this is something, again, it's just going to be stacking on top of leeching. You're going to do damage and heal yourself. And so you really never have to worry about healing yourself a lot of times because you're just passively healing and doing damage constantly because you're taking damage as a tank. And when you take damage, you're just going to deal damage back and you're going to heal yourself with these sets. I love it. And so for these, again, for the jewelry, we're running infused trait, triune, and triune. This one is a bracing enchant for the necklace. This one is magic recovery for the ring and magic recovery for the other ring. And then for the sword, we're using decisive trait, hardening enchant. For the shield, we're using sturdy trait and max stamina enchant. Now, for the 2-piece monster set, this can be switched out if you'd like, but I'm using Earth Gore. I love Earth Gore. Again, this is just, again, another healing set that, like, basically is just going to proc whenever you're below 50% health or you heal another ally below 50%. This is from Bloodroot Forge Vet Dungeon. So this is max stamina enchant infused on the helmet, and this is medium. And then on the shoulders, it's medium with reinforced and max stamina enchant. But what this does, this adds 4% healing done. And then when you heal yourself or a group member that is under 50% health, you conjure a pool of quenching blood underneath them, immediately removing all previous enemy place effects and healing the lowest health group member in the area for 35,211 health over 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds. This is an amazing ability, y'all. This has saved some people in my group and myself multiple times just because this heals so much. I love having this. It adds to like the blood theme as well as like with like the crimson and like the sap tank vibe. But you can switch this for Celestrix, Monster Helm. You can also switch this with like Lord Warden. You could use Symphony of Blades. Honestly, as a tank, y'all, you're not just going to use one Monster Helm. There's multiple Monster Helms that you can use. So just keep that in mind. This is just like the initial Monster Helm that I'm using. And then on the back bar, the Resto Staff. We are using the Master's Resto Staff, okay? The Master's Resto Staff is found in the Dragon Star Arena, okay? You can do this on normal and get this. This is an infused trait and Absorb Magicka enchant. But what this does is the initial heal of Grand Healing invigorates you and your group members affected for 4 seconds. This restoring 117 Magicka and stamina every 1 second. So this is going to almost restore 500 Magicka and stamina for the first 4 seconds of your healing springs. The one right here. This is why we're running this. So if you heal your teammates and yourself, you're already restoring 30 Magicka every time you heal you or an ally with this. But with the actual staff, you're going to be healing them as well, but you're also going to be giving them 117 Magicka and stamina every 1 second. So this is just going to be a nice thing to help your team out with. I love this staff for this build. I came upon it. I was like, dang, I need to start using this, see what I like about it. It turned out to be really, really cool, y'all, and I loved this aspect of this. So some alternate sets that I want to talk about, though, too, real quick is, again, this is a fun tank build. It's also kind of, you could call it a hybrid build if you'd like, because it's going to heal a lot. But This is something a tank. So if you're gonna run certain content with this, people might ask you to run other sets as well, and that's fine. So what I would do is, if you want alternate sets for this build, you can always pick up Ebon Armory. That's going to be a great alternate set as well that you can use that will help your teammates out too. You can pick up sets like Yonakrin. You can pick up an Alkosh set. You know, again, if you want to look at my tank sets video, I have the best tank sets video. There's multiple tank sets that you can use on this, but I love the overall theme of all of this together. And I think you're going to be surprised on how well this performs for you and how fun it is for you know, starting out on tanking and everything like that. It's a very, very fun build. So let's talk about the CP for you a little bit, and then we're gonna go into kind of just how this works and what you like, kind of what you can do with it. So if we go to the blue tree here, we've got 20 into Max Magicka, 40 into Blessed, 20 into Soothing Tide, 20 into Swift Renewal. And so basically you're gonna slot Soothing Tide and Swift Renewal. We then have 40 into, so 20 into Quick Recovery into this subtree, 10 into Elemental Aegis, 10 into Hardy, and then we've also got 50 into Duelist Rebuff. We're going to slot that. And we're going to have 50 into Unassailable. We're going to slot that as well. We also have 30 into Tireless Discipline. And then if we go to the red tree, again, this is on an 810 CP character. Outcast has a CP calculator on his website you can check out. But I only did 810 just because, again, y'all, this is something that, like, I'm not gonna do 3600 because I'm not even 3600, and you know, most people aren't 3600, and I just kind of trying to do a little more of a realistic CP area. So I'm doing 810. So the red tree, we've got 45 into Tumbling, 20 into Mystic Tenacity, and then we've got 40 into Defiance. We've got 50 into Ironclad, 30 into Rejuvenation. So slot this and Ironclad. And then we have 40 into Tireless Guardian, 15 into Nimble Protector, and 30 into Fortification. And then you can add another 10 because it looks like I'm missing 10 points there. So you got 40 into Rejuvenation here as well. So you're going to slot those two into that tree. For the green, again, this is not really a combat tree, so I didn't really slot any points in here, but things you can go for is you can go to Breakfall, which reduces your fall damage. You can get Rationer. You can get Liquid Efficiency. You can get the Treasure Hunter one. And yeah, so those are more the ones that you would like, and then Steadfast Enchantment. So now I'm just going to go over the fashion real quick before we go and show you guys everything with this. So with the fashion, this is the all of its Wayward Guardian. This is from doing daily quests in Markarth. So Wayward Guardian, everything, like I said, sword and board and the staff. And the die is Void Pitch, which you get from doing Vet, Vadishran Hollows. So Void Pitch, and then Scintillating Scarlet, which is what you get from Flames of Ambition. Delver Achievement, which is the new dungeons once you do them all on Vet. And that's what you see here. So I love this fashion. I think it looks pretty cool. But let's go ahead and show you a little bit what this build does. So what I'm going to do, y'all, is I'm going to kind of show you kind of what this looks like when you actually play this character. It's kind of insane. You'll just see that, like, again, basically, like, you're like almost unkillable in so many facets. It's just kind of ridiculous. So something, again, that you're going to want to always have up is your Mirage, and you're going to want to have Refreshing Path and a Sap Essence when you're in a huge group. But as you can tell right now, y'all, look, I'm literally not even blocking. My health is like barely going down. I'm just healing as I go. I pop Mirage again, and I'm just literally standing here. I'm just standing here. I use Refreshing Path, Sap Essence. I do a bunch of damage. I heal. I'm standing in fire right now. I can pop Combat Prayer, Grand Healing. I can pull things with my leash. But literally, as you see, my Crimson and my leeching just procs, and I'm literally just standing here taking damage and healing and dealing damage back. So what this is going to allow you to do is that, since this is something that you can literally just not worry too much about dying in a way, it allows you to basically focus on helping your teammates out. So what I like to do is, on this bar, you know, this is your main bar right here. This is where you're going to taunt. This is where you're going to do your Lotus Fan. You're going to do your Leeching Strikes and your Mirage. You're going to have that up, right? Okay, so then on the back bar is your healing bar. So you can focus on healing your teammates. You can lay your healing down to give them resources back. You can combat prayer to buff them. You can use, like I said, your refreshing path to get minor resolve, and sap essence, which is going to deal damage and again heal your teammates. This is literally the bar that you're going to stand on a lot of the time. And as you can tell, I'm just damaging all of these, enemies down. I'm not even doing that. I'm not even light attacking. But again, you're going to want to light attack just because it'll give you resources back while you have siphoning strikes active. But I'll try to show you guys a little bit more of like in a boss fight, kind of what you can do. But again, it's just this build. It's so fun. Like I have had so much fun with this build, and I am so excited to just do this all the time. Like play with this like all the time. It's just something that I've been really, really enjoying. But I try, when I switched this build to a healing staff, I did it in more of a sense to try to help people that have never tanked before, because I think when it comes to tanking, people are really nervous about doing all the tank stuff, right? You're like, I don't know what to do. Sometimes they just like freak out and they don't know like what abilities use. They ruin all their resources. But this, I hope, will help people out and show them that literally it kind of gets them in the mode of just being like, okay, I need to buff my teammates. I need to use this heal. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I hope that this will help players out, because it's literally something like, look, you'll just see me take health and then I'll just gain it back. Like it's insane. Like it's kind of ridiculous. And so again, this is going to allow you to be able to focus on your teammates a little bit more. Heal them with refreshing path, get your major resolve, use your sap essence to heal and deal damage, gain healing to get stuff back, combat prayer to buff, switch bars, mirage, make sure that's up, give you minor resolve, leeching strikes. And again, I'm not even light attacking, but you're going to want to. So I'm going to go over to this boss. I'm going to kind of show you guys a little bit on what I'm going to do with this boss. Again, it's kind of hard. I'm not like a DPS, so I'm trying to like get all these things in here so I can kill all these things first. But we'll just pull everything. And then we'll just, it'll be good. Soul Tether, as you can see here, will deal a lot of damage. Grand Healing, Refreshing Path, give major resolve, Siphoning Strikes, Lotus Fan, Grand Healing, Sap Essence, Refreshing Path, Mirage, Lotus Fan, Refreshing Path, and Healing, Combat Prayer, make sure you have your Leeching Strikes up, Mirage, Path, Sap Essence, Grand Healing, Combat Prayer, Tether again. And as you can imagine, y'all, I'm not even a DPS, right? And right now I'm damaging down all of these enemies without a DPS. So if you're doing this in a group, your teammates are going to be damaging a lot of these enemies down. So I'm not even going to be taking necessarily all this damage that I'm taking right now, but it just shows you the ability of this build to just sit here and basically just do damage and not do anything. I mean, by using some abilities to make sure you keep your heals up, to make sure you have your resistances up, you're really just sitting here and you're waiting for your DPS to do damage, and you're trying to buff your DPS. I'm going to silver leash. I'm going to get everything kind of tight in here. So this is where you can practice too, pulling in enemies, right? With silver leash, you can pull in this Atronach if it wants to come in. There you go. You can pull this one in, and then make sure you heal. Don't die. Refreshing Path. I'll use Bolstering Darkness just to get a big heal over time there. I'll use Grand Healing, Lotus Fan, Siphoning Strikes. Make sure my Mirage is back up. I'll use Combat Prayer, Refreshing Path again, Sap Essence. Everything's in this area now, so we're good there. And again, make sure you are light attacking. It's going to give your ultimate back, but I'm just kind of showing you kind of what you can be doing passively. And all these enemies are basically dead now. I mean, again, as you saw right there, y'all, if you have a DPS, that's going to go so much quicker, right? But it's just insane. I mean, you literally just heal so much there. Okay, so let's get this boss. Let's range taunt him. So what we're gonna do with bosses, right? We're gonna taunt the boss, and make sure when you taunt, I do like using Pierce Armor more just because it's gonna give that other buff. So make sure you taunt, get your Mirage up, Leeching Strikes, and then here you can use Refreshing Path, Sap Essence, and here you can basically just wait to heal your teammates. You can block, you can dodge things that you need to dodge. Lay your healing down, and then make sure your taunt's back up. You can Lotus Fan, Siphoning Strikes, Mirage, switch back to this bar, Sap Essence, Refreshing Path, brand healing, block that, and then your ultimates are up. So for boss fights, again, that's going to be your standard thing. Keep your taunt up, have your mirage up all times, your leeching strike, lotus fan to debuff them, and then do your hidden, your refreshing path, your sap essence, and then you can kind of use your combat prayer and healing springs when you need it. And then again, just make sure your taunt's up again. And yeah, this is what you're going to do. And it's super simple, y'all. This is the sap Nightblade build. And I absolutely love this build. And it's something that I've just been having so much fun with. And I'm excited to be running this with more people like in the live server. I think it's going to be cool. And if they ever nerf Crimson, I'm going to be really sad because this is like one of my favorite sets in the whole game. But if you guys, again, have any questions on this build, you can always come by my Twitch chat, twitch.tv/brahwegotthis, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the Discord as well, or the comment section. Leave me a comment below what you think about this build. I'd like to hear your feedback on it, and I'd like to see what you think about it. And again, make sure to like, subscribe, heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the content in the channel. You can find all the links in the description, like I said, below for the socials and everything like that. But until next time, y'all, just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on ESO.